I wasn't supposed to speak at my son's wedding. In fact, his fiancée made that very clear the night before the ceremony. She leaned close to me, smiling sweetly so no one else would notice, and whispered, "After tomorrow, you won't have any place in our lives." I remember the way those words felt, like the air had suddenly disappeared from the room. I had spent 25 years raising my son, Ethan, alone. His father died when Ethan was only 5. From that day on, I became everything in his life. I worked double shifts at a grocery store, cleaned offices at night, and sometimes slept only 3 hours just to make sure Ethan never went to bed hungry. But that night, standing in a fancy hotel ballroom filled with laughter and music, I felt smaller than I ever had in my life. Her name was Vanessa. Everyone loved her. She was beautiful, confident, and came from a wealthy family. When Ethan first introduced her to me 2 years earlier, I tried my best to welcome her with an open heart. I truly believed she would become the daughter I never had. But over time, I noticed things. Small things at first. The way she ignored me when Ethan left the room. The way she rolled her eyes when I talked about Ethan's childhood. The way she acted as if my simple clothes embarrassed her. Still, I kept quiet, because Ethan looked happy. And after everything he'd been through growing up, I thought he deserved happiness more than anything. The night before the wedding, the rehearsal dinner was held at a luxurious hotel downtown. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling, and every table was decorated with flowers that probably cost more than my monthly rent. I had brought a gift for Ethan. A small wooden box filled with letters I had written to him throughout his life. Letters I never gave him. Letters written on nights when money was tight or when I worried about the future. I thought maybe he would like them someday. But before I could even give it to him, Vanessa stopped me near the hallway. She looked at the box in my hands and sighed. "You really don't understand, do you?" she said quietly. "Understand what?" I asked. She leaned closer. "After tomorrow, Ethan's life will be different. He'll be part of my family now, my world. And honestly, you don't really fit into it." I felt my chest tighten. "I'm his mother," I said softly. She shrugged. "Yes, you were important when he needed someone to raise him. But things change." Her smile returned, cold and sharp. "So tomorrow, just sit quietly. Don't embarrass us with emotional speeches or stories about the past. That chapter is over." For a moment, I couldn't speak. All I could think about were the years I spent holding my son together after his father died. And now I was being told I didn't belong. That night, I went home and sat at the kitchen table for hours. I kept replaying her words in my head. Finally, around midnight, I made a decision. The next morning, I wouldn't go to the wedding. If my presence embarrassed her so much, I would remove myself completely. When the wedding day arrived, I turned off my phone and stayed home. I expected Ethan to be angry. I expected the ceremony to continue without me. But at 11:40 that morning, my phone began ringing nonstop. When I finally answered, it was Ethan. His voice sounded different. Shaken. "Mom, where are you?" "I'm at home," I said quietly. There was a long pause. Then he said something I never expected to hear. "Good. Because you just saved me from making the biggest mistake of my life." My heart started racing. "What do you mean?" He took a deep breath. 10 minutes before the ceremony, one of my friends showed me something. It turned out Vanessa had been hiding a secret. Actually, several secrets. One of Ethan's college friends worked at a financial firm. A few days earlier, he had recognized Vanessa's father's name in a list of companies being investigated for fraud. At first, he didn't think much of it. But when he looked deeper, he discovered something shocking. Vanessa's family wasn't wealthy at all. They were drowning in debt, millions of dollars. And Ethan's successful career as a software engineer made him the perfect solution. When Ethan confronted Vanessa about it before the ceremony, she didn't even try to deny it. Instead, she said something that shattered him. "You're overreacting," she told him. "Marriage is basically a partnership anyway. Your income helps my family, and my connections help your career. Everyone wins." That was the moment Ethan realized she never loved him. He canceled the wedding immediately. Hundreds of guests were left confused. The reception hall sat empty, and Vanessa stormed out of the church screaming. But the part that hit Ethan the hardest came afterward, when he learned why I wasn't there. My sister had told him everything Vanessa said to me the night before. Ethan drove straight to my house. When I opened the door, he looked exhausted. For a second, neither of us spoke. Then he hugged me tighter than he had since he was a little boy. "I'm sorry, Mom," he whispered. "For what?" I asked. "For not seeing who she really was, and for letting anyone make you feel like you didn't belong in my life." I felt tears running down my face, because for the first time in months, the tension in my chest finally disappeared. Sometimes life has strange ways of revealing the truth. Vanessa thought she was cutting me out of the picture. But in the end, the one person she underestimated the most was the bond between a mother and her son. And that was something no amount of money, manipulation, or lies could ever break.